and welcome back to another season to master Java 8 stream. In this season, we are going to have 10 episodes and we are going to solve 10 amazing problems. This problem all will be real world used in an enterprise industry, and as in our previous season 1, we have only solved problem with the first layer of the object present in a JSON. Even though we do have a complex object in our JSON in season 1, we yet use the simple or the first layer of the permutation. In this season, we are going to get more complicated object and then we are going to solve more complicated problems, which you are going to solve in any company you go in, and this will help you a lot. Now compare our JSON and see how and what is the difference between these two JSON and how are we going to solve it. If you haven't watched season 1, you should go and watch season 1 so that it will be easier for you to catch up. We will be using the same project where we have left off. The reason is because every time if you set up a new project, then you will be doing it from the scratch. But if you work in an industry, you are not always going to work in a new project. You have to reuse certain things, you have to edit certain things. So that's why you also have to develop this skill. Now let's straight jump in. So this is was our JSON used in our season 1, which were only having 5 elements. Now this will be I've already created the JSON because I don't want to create JSON file and take your time. So I've already created the JSON file. If you are very beginner, then you could go and watch season 1 how I have created this or the previous JSON file. You can follow the same steps. So now you can see we have more information in our new JSON file. Let me close this one. Comparing to our season 1 JSON, and in season 2 our JSON is more complicated, and even though in season 1 we do have policy holder, but we have considered policy holder as a string, but whereas in this season we are going to consider policy holder as an object inside an object, and then we also have another object which is an array object. As you can see, this is an array of object, whereas policy holder is not an array of object. So there are a lot of complication here, yet we are going to solve it. 10 amazing problem using this JSON. And also the first episode of this series will be longer because we are going to cover the basics first, or we have to set up our base project, whereas upcoming videos will be shorter because we are only focused on solving the problem. So now let us close our old JSON file and open our project explorer. Now what we need to create is we need to create our Bojo for this JSON. So now let us go to our data package and then create our Java class insurance policy advance, and then here what are we going to do is we are going to have private string, and then we are going to have our policy ID. We will have okay, let me do one thing so that it will be easier. Private policy type, then we will be having policy number, and then we have private double. Now let's what okay, it's premium amount. We can also do this, and the another is also private double, and I think that is coverage. Well, let us minimize this one. Coverage amount, the spelling has to same, otherwise it will throw an error. And then rest is a string. Let us copy our string, and then what are we going to do is we are going to start date, and then we have end date. We will come to here later. We can create it also. So now we will create our policy holder and our claims. Private customers, and then our name will be policy holder. We can also define our class as policy holder, but I prefer customers because they will be holding customer information. And then we will have private because that is an array. So we are going to claims, and then I hope this is correct. And then we are going to define it as an array list. Okay. Now these two our complex object. Also, we are need to create our basic getters and setters, and then two strings. Okay, so we will come to n constructor also. We'll come here later. Now let us create our class, customer class, and in our customer class, what we need is we need name, age, address, claims made. Okay, so that will also type Pojo. We'll create our customer, and let us also create claims so that we will minimize our project explorer. And now come to customer, and then define our we need to private string name, and then we will be having private int age, and then we have private string address, and then we have I think private in claims made. Yeah, here also we are going to have our getters, and we'll come to here, we'll do it in one shot. Let us quickly complete our claim as well, and then we are going to start from here. Public int amount, public string is status. Okay, so now let us quickly, you can use get lambda if we are using it, and then we are going to create two string. Perfect. And then let us quickly create the constructor, all argument constructor, and default no argument constructor. Select none. Perfect. So now claims done. Now we will come to our, let us quickly create getter setter, and let us quickly do string, and then follow along. Okay, so claims done. First, now we will come here, do the same thing, and here also. Okay, no, I think perfect. Now let us select none, and now we are going to just verify it. Policy ID, policy type, policy number, coverage amount, start date, and date. Yeah, so all these three done. We can close this, and now we'll also close our JSON. And then once our Pojo is ready, now what we need is we need to create our policy reader. We can also edit this one, but I don't want to edit, but I want to keep the same because going forward we are going to policy reader advanced everything. We can copy it. I think before copying it we will do one more thing. We will also create insurance service advanced, and then we can, okay, so we have all our unique files. Whereas let us quickly come to policy reader, copy this block of code. Is just the method where we are policy service reader, policy service advanced, policy service reader advanced. Okay, and then we also need to have our change to the file path, which is the new insurance policy, and also we need to also change to our advanced Pojo, which is pointing to that JSON. Okay, this is done. Now Move it. Now what are we going to do is we'll just verify it. Yeah, all okay. It will be a list class. If this is done, now our insurance policy reader. Okay, now one more thing which we need is, because we haven't defined annotation, because for Spring to pick this up as a bean, we need to define as, we need to annotate it. And now we will come to quality service header. And now we are going to, but before that, we will not copy paste, we will do our constructor injection. Private final insurance policy reader advanced, and then we will use the method to do the constructor injection. And also we need to annotate this. And now what are we going to do is, what will be our first problem? As you have already seen on, find the policies expiring in the expiring in the next 5 years. So this problem statement is more like time based filtering. Okay, so this is the, now we are going to solve the problem, because so far we are just setting up. So how are we going to solve this? How are we going to find the policies expiring in the next 5 years? How can you tell, how can you get this data from the JSON? You see, right? This problem statement is not a normal problem. You have to solve this problem. You have a JSON. You have to do the logic now. You have to write a code and get that data and give to your partner or vendor, whoever is consuming your API. And we also have a start and end date. Just give it a thought and solve using Java 8 stream. Now let's solve it. We need to create our date, because we need to find within 5 years. So we have to calculate the date, right? We'll create local date 5 years from now variable, get the local date dot now, and then we are going to plus 5 plus years, and then we will pass the value 5. Later say I can have a method called plus 5 years or plus 10 years, but anyhow we will create our object where we will store list insurance policy advance. Let's import our list, and then expiring soon, and then we will have insurance policy advance not policies dot open our stream. Now we will filter the policy. Insurance policy, insurance policy is enough. I think, yeah, insurance policy. Okay, this name is fine. Now we'll have local date dot pass dot get. Okay, I think no pass, and then we are going to have our insurance policy dot get end date. We need the end date, and then we need to use is before 5 years. We need to pass 5 years from now, and then we need to, okay, we will not be using the normal collect. You can directly use toolist, because if you haven't watched my previous videos, I've told it many times. You can simply use to collect as toolist rather than using collect and then toolist. So why there is an error in insurance policy reader advanced? Because variable insurance might not have been initialized. Okay, already initialize. Okay, you know what I did? in writing solving the problem, I haven't created my method itself. Public void, and then we can have 5 years from now. We haven't created the method. You see, it's okay. This is how we learn. Okay, and also when we have a problem statement outside. Okay, okay, this not okay. I just formatted it. Now we will have expiring soon dot for one for each. And we will use our system route and method reference. And now what are we going to do is, because this is a new season, we are going to have a new controller. Not new controller, we can create a new controller, but we will reuse our existing controller. Going forward, we will just amend it with advanced. We need to perfect. Now we are going to open our Postman and copy our endpoint and also restart our application. Let it restart. We will come here. We will duplicate it. We have done this thing a couple of times. Point it to new endpoint. Change this as well. Save it. Now let us see whether the services is up. Now clear the logs and fire the API. They're saying there is an error. Okay, I think the port number has changed. Let's change to 8080. Perfect. Services. Now we only got one policy and it is 2008 and it is 2028, 5 years from now. So it's 2025. So it's 2028. So yeah. So this is how we are going to solve our upcoming problems, and it will be quite interesting problems for you to solve, and you're going to learn a lot. The first video was quite big, but the second video we are only focused on just solving the problem. We'll have a problem statement and then we are just going to solve it. We have a base setup. You can use JSON from anywhere. JSON is stored in DB, JSON is stored in Kafka, JSON is stored in anywhere. So you need to read the information or you need to manipulate the information which is present in our JSON or GraphQL or whatever it is. Using Java 8 stream, you will become the master in Java 8 stream. Because if you have to write this logic without Java 8, it will be few not 100 line of code, but it will be definitely a good line of code for you to solve this problem. You can go and try it out, but I would rather suggest to focus on Java 8 stream because it will change your coding style a lot. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. And finally, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel.